know what? He and Lenny both deserve it.
They do. They're just special people, and that is their life.
You know, we were talking about how cool it is when your heroes become your mentors,
Man.
and those same mentors become your friends.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Ross has been a friend, man. I'll tell you. I think about those first couple of weeks, you know, that after Briggs was diagnosed and he had surgery to resect a brain tumor, and we just clinging to life, you know. And Ross called me every day for 2 weeks to check on him.
That's a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, they're a family that don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just clockwork, you know. And
yeah. Well, and one of your earliest memories of getting started in this business, in this genre, first inspiration was Ian Tyson, then second inspiration was Ross Knox.
yeah, you know, there was something about Ross's recitation style that stirred my soul.
Yeah.
And, you know, in those early days at Elko, he was sort of the character. I mean, obviously, you know, in terms of poets, you know, Baxter and Waddy and Wally McRae and, you know, Larry McWhorter and Buck Ramsey. And, I mean, there's so many. You know, I think about Elizabeth Ebert and Marie Smith, you know, and some of the lady poets that really got to me, but Ross, in a way that made me want to just saddle up, change my life, and, you know, be a cowboy.
6 years ago, Joel Nelson called me from the 06 ranch in Alpine, Texas. Asked me if I wanted to go through the spring works there, which I jumped that famous old ranch. About halfway through, Joel told me a poem that he had just written. Charles Goodnight's a man that invented the chuck wagon. Joel Nelson's a man that wrote the poem. I've recorded this poem twice. Joel told me once, he said, after I heard you do it, he said, I never did that poem again. I took that as a compliment. I hope it was meant that way. This is called Charles Goodnight's Dream. Well, he's been in the saddle since way before dawn. He's riding his third horse and the sun's nearly gone. But from somewhere upwind, he smells biscuits and beans. And his bedroll's waiting by Charles Goodnight's Dream. He's been thinking of old-timers in the earlier days when the pack strings and the greasy sacks was the most common ways of getting the groceries to the roundups each day. His bed was a blanket thrown out on the clay. Then a rancher named Goodnight lay thinking, it seems, about cowboys in Texas, bad weather and beans. So he built him a chuck box for his wagon and teams. Now the tents make a home around Charles Goodnight's Dream. Charlie was thinking when he had this idea that a cowboy could sleep better and he could carry more gear. The grub got lots better and the cooks weren't as mean. A rollin' cosine, Charles Goodnight's Dream. They loaded the dream down with flour and lard, canned fruit and syrup, and threw in 2 decks of cards. No cowboy could want more at the end of the day than a bed by the dream with $1 in pay. You ask any cowboy about his best times, he'll talk of the wagon with the hoodlum behind. He'll mention fat cattle, grass tall and green, and saddle horses strung in behind Charles Goodnight's Dream. Now the wives of the wagon men pray for the day when the cows are all worked and the men home to stay. They feel sort of lonesome, just a little demeaned, but they'll brag to their friends about the man at the dream. On some outfits, she's been scrapped to come back again like a pawn on a chessboard, a victim of wind. And she comes back far stronger each time she's redeemed, and the buckaroos ride out with Charles Goodnight's dream. She's a mother, a lover, a port in a storm, the cowboy's idea of comfort and warmth. She's a home where his heart is, and the coffee cup steams, and the night horse grazes around Charles Goodnight's dream. The harness is hung on the tongue pointed north. A breeze blows the range teepee poles back and forth. Somewhere in old cow balls. It's all part of the scheme of life on the range built around Charlie's dream. For 119 plus years it has been, and the dream is rolled out twice a year with her men. She's been shown on canvas, in books and on screen, but she's true to her cowboy, Charles Goodnight's dream. Like filings to magnets, like birds to the sky, the dream can draw cowboys. Smart men ask why. But once a man's been there, it's clear as can be. It takes strength to stay, but a lot more to leave. She draws them from gutters, from off of bar stools, from off their dad's farms, and from Ivy League schools. But whether they're rich, poor, cultured, or mean, they're far better men when they're out with a dream. So sit up, cowboys, and oil up your gear. Grease up your riata for tomorrow's roe deer. Sit tall in the saddle, your silver a-gleam. Be proud you can be part of Charles Goodnight's dream. Well, in 1903, Henry Ford preconceived that the teams in the wagons were due a reprieve. But when mud bogs the Ford down and the gasoline's gone, Charles Goodnight's dream and her cowboys roll on. She's been home to cowboys, a hospital too. The cook was a doctor while stirring his stew. They're shading companionship under the fly. She's got the brand of the outfit burned onto her side. Well, the old cow buyer come out to visit the crew with his little fat cigar and his boots shiny and new. Beefsteak and gravy, biscuits and beans. Hell, he buys from the outfit just to eat at the dream. Then he watches the crew catch the afternoon mount for the cutting or branding or just getting the count. And whether packing a bridle or just a little too green, every horse has a job when he's out with a dream. And the old buyer thinks to a time way back when, to the same kind of horses and the same kind of men. He was a lot younger then and just a little more lean. He was the cow boss running a dream. Scholars say, cowboys, the end is drawing near. You best move on over, technology's here. But somewhere out west where the big outfits are, out beyond high lines and highways and cars, our grandkids will ride out. And man, won't their eyes gleam at the saddle horses streaming behind Charles Goodnight's dream. Joel Nelson.